Hello, everyone, and welcome to our second ever Women's Alliance Moon Meeting. So I'm so excited. Last week we had the offering and we got to know everybody. This is the Women's Alliance. We are a women's rights consultant, an education and empowering group. We consult, educate, and empower women about their rights. We're a nonprofit. So we are just so thankful that everybody is out here, and we're here to help serve and uplift women. So everybody, I just want to say thank you so much for being here to our second meeting. Thank you so much for joining us. And I would like to start the meeting just with some deep cleansing, clearing breaths. So if y'all don't mind, just breathe with me. Take a deep inhale from your highest divine self into your now self. And exhale, grounding that highest divine self fully into the now self. All right, one more deep breath, cleansing energy. And the highest divine self that is you. And exhale, fully grounding that highest divine self into the here and now. All right, everyone. Thank you so much for doing that with me. Thank you so much. So last week we talked about, we got to know each other a little bit, and we talked about the strength of a woman and how it's a little bit different. It's like a resilient type of strength, we don't give up, we keep going, we keep trying, and it's a beautiful thing. And tonight I'm going to kind of talk about a different strength of a woman, because there's another thing that we have. And my favorite way to put this is in the words of a Black Eyed Peas song. So they say, my lovely lady humps, but you can't touch or you will get some drama. They don't exactly say it like that, but yeah, you don't want no drama, right? You don't want no drama. And us ladies, we can bring the drama. We can bring the drama and the madness and the crazy. That's one of our strengths, honestly. And I think that it's been held against us for a long time. But it is one of our strengths, the madness that we can bring. And it can be a weakness, and it can move into toxicity. That's one thing I think that we don't talk about enough in our culture, is the toxic feminine, which is very, very real. That's why it's so hard to unite women, and it's so hard to have a sisterhood that will help embrace and empower one another, because the toxic feminine is real, and she exists, and she exudes madness. She just does. And yeah, so that's one of the things that we're going to be talking about tonight. And I think that the madness that is the woman, it really comes from us being cut down. I think that we get cut down so much that we go mad. I know for me personally, that was my story. I was up and coming, 20 years ago, and I was working for a nonprofit, and my heart just glowed working for this nonprofit and working to help women, and I loved it so much. But there was a toxic male in my life. I chose to have him in my life, and I thought that I could just cut him off and get rid of him, but it's not how toxic males will go sometimes. And he cut me down. He cut me down pretty big, and it caused some madness. I ended up losing my job and my position, and for the longest I felt like that meant that it was over. But now I'm finding out, no, it didn't mean that it was over. It meant that a transformation was needed. And in a way, I'm thankful for the role that he played in my life and the cutting down that he did. Because without that, I wouldn't have transformed into the woman that I am today. I wouldn't have found the love for the women that I have in my heart the way that I do. And I wouldn't have been able to create Women's Alliance. So I am beyond grateful for the cutting down that I went through. And with that being said, with me sharing some of my story, I'm going to share some more of the initiation story, which is a story that we've been working on with the nettles and their transformation, and the story that they tell, which is a retelling of the Six Swans, I do believe, by Hans Christian Andersen, which was a retelling. There's a bunch of retellings. And this is just a retelling of the whole story. So if y'all will bear with me, I'm going to read this story, and then I want to hear from all of you. How have you been cut down? Were you able to transform from it? Are you being cut down now? Do you see the possibility of being able to transform and become one? And then we'll move into the movements, because movements are so healing and empowering. They're so important, especially for us women, but we'll get into that. All right, so if y'all bear with me, I'm going to read The Harvest. When we grasp the nettles, the sting makes your hand come alive. Can you embrace the sting, the hardships of life, and allow them to bring you to life, and wait until your mind becomes gentle threads? When you are ready and calm, you can cut the nettle swiftly, lowering it to the ground. Listen to how it swishes. You can sing and sway. The nettle loves to sway. Letting go of the long, hard day, ready to give over to transformation for the highest good. At the end, it is said there was dancing. At the end, there were 7 women, and their hips moved round and swayed like no other woman's had in 1,000 years. It's said that at their hips were skirts made of fine string spun from the nettles. It's said that the hips of women made spirals. Their joints and muscles and bones were swiveling like the wheel of the stars moving from morning to night. It is said that at the end, 7 women swayed, their hips both narrow and broad in skirts of nettle, and by moving, their caravan of clouds had come, and they began to open. It said that the 6 of their shadows were not human yet, that in the moonlight they were still winged silhouettes of snow geese. That was the end, my dear sisters. But every end is another ending's beginning. It is said that once human people put all their knowledge into a strange web, into a stranger cloud, and not into the palms of their hands, their heart valleys, or their sturdy feet. They instead put their knowing into a web and a cloud, and it made them naked, though they thought that it made them vast. People did not make a map of blood and iron and a story in their sternums like the snow geese do. The geese forever know their way home because they would never take it out of their breast and give it away to a cloud. And so, when the clouds dissolved, as all clouds do, and the webs fell apart, and the cities previously held together by strands of web and cloud went dark, the people forgot how to even make fire with sticks and stones. There were no maps home. Instead, the earth began to groan, hiss, spit, and move in floods and fire and all kinds of intensities. Humans lost all that they have known. When the calamities were over, that's when the nettles came. and grew. It's said that we nettles grew with our roots in the shit of your past, and we grow thick like walls to keep you from those places, to force you to begin all over again. Not to pick up the fallen pieces and make them new again, but to make you start again, this time using your hearts and your hands. It does not start well, for it is not always a gentle heart that survives when the world goes dark. It was those vicious of hand and heart who survived and took the hilltops with their guns and killed anyone who came near, because there was not enough water or food in their eyes. What they remembered is how to storm, slash, and carry on. They knew how to take, so take they did. But they could not take from the nettle. Blood and blister is what they would get, along with the madness from trying. So, that's my crazy story. Thank you for listening to part 2 of the crazy story. I relate to this so much. You can push me only so far, and then you're going to get the madness. Not something I'm really proud of, but it is me. It's not something that I'm going to deny. It's something I'm going to try to wield for the good and not let it control me for the bad anymore. And I hope that there's some women out there that are willing to acknowledge the toxic feminine within them and to hopefully move towards wielding it for the good, for a better and higher earth that I know is to come, whether we do it or not. So we might as well do it. Anyway, that's what I got for you girls tonight. And I want to know, what do y'all think? Am I crazy?